Hello everybody, this is SuperFang99. Before we begin, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell to be notified when I post a new video. It really helps out the channel. With that out of the way, Cthulhu has once again brought some more gifts. I give thanks every day for when the great old ones bless me with these new packs from Gamezenter. If you recall, about a week ago, if not longer than that, at time of recording at least, I unboxed the Out of the Void Investigator pack that contained all of the promo investigators that Arkham Horror, the card game, has released thus far. This time, we're going to be opening the Parallel Investigators. If you don't know, the Parallel Investigators were first released as print and play investigators, aka FFG released them as their PDFs. It contained a alternate version of each of the 5 core set investigators, along with some modifications to an existing scenario in the Arkham card game that you could play using the Parallel Investigators. So, Gamezenter, as previously mentioned, in partnership with FFG, has released officially printed versions of these Parallel Investigators, and today we are going to check them out. All right, with that out of the way, let's start with Roland. So, I believe, and actually I should note this first. Yes. So, on the back of the pack, notes what is the requirement to be able to actually play the scenario in which the parallel investigator is associated with. So in this case, By the Book only requires a core set that includes the revised core set, of course. Daisy, however, she requires at minimum the Dunwich Legacy Deluxe Expansion. So the Dunwich Legacy Deluxe Expansion, if you don't know, is the first deluxe expansion that came out for the Arkham card game. I want to say like 5 or 6 years ago. Obviously, I don't 100% know the timeline. But they are releasing the Dunwich Legacy campaign expansion, a sort of re-release of the original campaign later on this year. So if you want to play the challenge scenario associated with alternate Daisy, you will need the Dunwich Legacy. I believe it is what is the one? It's one of the ones in the original Dunwich Legacy. Not The House Always Wins. The extracurricular activity. That's what it's called. And in fact, Skids O'Toole is the other one, right? He plays on The House Always Wins. So he also requires Dunwich Legacy. So these two require Dunwich Legacy. Agnes, I can't recall. That's right. Yeah, she needs the Forgotten Age and Threads of Fate in order to play her. Of course, you can actually still play her investigator. Nothing about her investigator is like specifically tied to Forgotten Age. It's just her challenge scenario. So, to repeat, in order to play the Bad Blood challenge scenario, you need the Forgotten Age and Threads of Fate. Wendy is the only exception. In order to actually play her, you need the Innsmouth Conspiracy, technically. That is because her alternate parallel investigator mechanic includes and involves the Bless and Curse mechanic, which is not specific to, but is contained within the Innsmouth Conspiracy. So, if you do want to play her and you don't have Innsmouth, either you have to get Innsmouth, or you can proxy the Bless and Curse tokens. It might be a little difficult if you're not playing with coin capsules, or you can just get them separately. Like, I know that Orbitz sells them separately, but you know, it's hard to say. So just be aware if you're looking to get parallel Wendy Adams, she does require Bless and Curse in order to actually play her alternate version. At least to play the front of her, to play the back of her, you can get away without it, but it'll be a little bit awkward. All right. Okay, introductions out of the way. Let us start opening these. I've been informed by a commenter that I can open these from the bottom and they won't tear. So let's hope that they were correct. Oh, I see. There's like a sticky tape on the bottom. So let's see how this goes. Ooh, this is a little bit rough. Ooh, some real sticky. Okay, that's not bad. Yeah, because I can just seal that back up. All right. Whoa, there's an actual sheet goes along with it. Here are the cards, and I believe that's everything. Interesting, the cards are held together by this plastic divider. Here he is. So here is parallel Roland. Let's actually quickly just look at this by the book challenge scenario. This is interesting. I think this paper feels different. Well, it feels different from at least their current campaign logs. I could be wrong. It is just paper. All right, so this is what it shows. Challenge scenarios. Standalone, of course. You can play it standalone. I believe if you insert it into a campaign and you succeed, you're able to upgrade Roland's normal base version of his signature asset, the gun, into the advanced asset, or like downgrade the weakness. But if you fail, you have to like upgrade the weakness or like downgrade the signature asset. It's pretty rough. All right, I won't show what's on the back there. All right, so let's take this off. I kind of like this, honestly. Obviously, I would have preferred a little baggy, but this is pretty nice, pretty easy to unwrap. All right, so here is Roland Banks, the Fed. Already, I can tell that this is the same quality that the previous Gamezenter cards had. It's a little glossy, and already you can actually see, based on my previous inspection of the card, it is the same width as the Gamezenter cards. So, obviously, Gamezenter is printing it on their printer. Their cards will look the same. Notably, they are different than the officially printed FFG cards, namely by width as well as by color, especially on the backs of these player cards. That should not matter to most people if you sleeve. If you don't sleeve, though, you might have to take that into consideration. That is ultimately your choice. His thing is all about his directives. That's right. And he gets very interesting deck building. He starts with 5. Let me see if they also clarify. You may choose whether to use the original version, both the front and the back. That's right. So there's this little neat trick that people can do. Obviously, you can play this investigator, or you can play the base Roland, or you can take just the front of this one and the back of the base Roland, or the base Roland and just the back of this one. I haven't seen a lot of decks that kind of interchange where they go like, oh, the front of that one and the back of that one, but it is interesting. This one gets you insight and tactic cards, level 0 to 3, instead of secret cards. So it's a trade-off, right? I'm not entirely sure. All right, and here are his directives. So he has due diligence, red tape, consult experts, seek the truth, and leave no doubt. Of course, he has his upgraded, or not his upgraded, his advanced versions of his 38 special, which is, I believe, like the combat bonus is better, and he's able to somehow refill it with ammo, which is pretty cool. And his weakness. The advanced weakness is interesting. Basically, it just changes it from starting with 3 to going up to 4 clues. That may or may not be a big deal, especially in higher player counts, but that is really dependent on how well Roland is doing, and also how late in the game you draw it, of course. All right. And here is by the book. I'll just be showing this part. I won't be going any further until we hit later on, and I'll have a sort of spoiler section for it. So, that is Roland. All right, now let's move on to Daisy. So again, we have read or die, and whoa. Okay, this one is different. This one doesn't come with this thing, but rather is actually sealed. Interesting. Maybe they were like, oh, we're running out of these things. We need to do this. I actually have no idea why they would be different. Oh, there's a terror thing. Okay, that's nice. Maybe they were running out of these. Okay. Oh, it didn't open yet. So maybe this is not a tear thing. Come on. Let's open these without stretching the cards too much. Okay, almost got there. There we go. Okay, there we go. So this is Parallel Daisy. Her ability is much more different. All right, and here is her back, of course. She focuses on tomes, I believe. Yeah, she's very similar to Finn Edwards' is his deck building. So that's interesting. Here's her tote bag. Allows her to play her tome assets fast. And the upgraded Necronomicon. Yeah, not only does it treat Elder Signs as something bad, but it actually treats them as all three, the Cultist, the Tablet, and the Monster Chaos tokens. It's pretty rough. And here's Read or Die. All right. Daisy's one is pretty simple. Now let's move on to Parallel Skids. Parallel Skids, honestly, seems like, I don't want to say the best, but like the biggest improvement, shall I say, over the original Skids. Uh-oh. Got stuck a little bit. There we go. Okay. Just want to inspect the damage there, if any. Okay, nothing terrible. Nothing terrible. Could have been worse. All right. All right, and this one isn't a fully sealed one as well. I don't know. Probably they just ran out. Yeah, and there is a tear tab. I don't know why I didn't tear open the first time. There we go. That's better. All right. Parallel Skids also has the advantage of being able to put how many luckies? 6 luckies in his deck. Seems good. All right. Yeah, he gets to gamble. That's absolutely right. Gambit and Fortune cards. And then he has this weird upgrading thing where you can keep the base level version of it. Pretty sick. All right, here is On the Lam. I still don't really know what to think of this card, even the advanced version. Hospital Debts. So it's now 9 resources total instead of 6. Here's All or Nothing. All right. That is Skids. Let's move on to Agnes. Agnes's Parallel is pretty cool. I've actually never played with her. The Parallel, at least. Be interesting to try it out. Revolves around a lot around spells, obviously, but it also is the one it switches up her health and sanity because she likes to take damage now. Hello. Uh-oh. Okay, opening from the bottom has been a little awkward so far, but we'll have to make do. Okay. There we go. All right, and this one has the tab. All right, here's Agnes. Yeah, and see, her health is now 8 and 6. It used to be 6 and 8, I believe. But when she casts spells, she can take damage and do some pretty sweet things with it. All right, here's her upgraded Heirloom of Hyperborea. Has a lot of soak, 3 health and 3 sanity, but the same reaction. Only damage and or horror from player card effects. So you can put shriveling horror on it. And also her abilities damage on it, of course. I didn't show the back of Agnes Maker. But she gets spells 0 to 3 and occult cards 0 to 3. And she has the similar upgrading to Skids, where you can keep lower level versions of spells in her deck. Here's the upgraded Dark Memory, 4 cost for the privilege of being an Ancient Evils. That's pretty rough. And there's Bad Blood, of course. All right, moving on to the last one of the bunch. We have Parallel Wendy Adams. If you're wondering why this didn't come out before Out of the Void, since the Parallel Investigators were released on Gamezenter before Out of the Void was, it's because when they released the Parallel Investigators, Wendy Adams was not released with them. And so I wanted to get them all together to save on shipping costs, as it were. Okay, this is getting a bit awkward. Uh-oh. Trying my best. It's pretty sticky. There we go. That worked out pretty good. And this one has the sealed one. Fascinating. All right. So we have another pull tab. Oh, we don't. Interesting. All right, we'll have to make do. Wish I brought my box opener for this. It would have made it a little easier, but we'll see. All right, and here's parallel Wendy Adams. And as you can see, her deck involves Bless and Curse tokens. So if you want to play her, at least the front side, you need Bless and Curse tokens in some form or another. Her deck building is also very interesting. Blessed and or cursed cards. Obviously, the blessed and the cursed ones are greatly expanded upon in the Innsmouth conspiracy cycle anyway. So she is very much reliant on the Innsmouth conspiracy cycle. So just so you're aware. All right. We have the title memento, which interacts with her front. And then we have her upgraded Wendy's amulet. This one's pretty good. It's not just the topmost event anymore. It is any event in her discard pile. And then the advanced abandoned alone can get pretty spooky. 3 direct horror is nothing to be scoffed at. And we have Red Tide Rising. So her challenge scenario is modifies the vanishing of Elena Harper scenario. Just so you're aware. All right. So that is the Parallel Investigators. I'm going to go sleeve these up and put them in my binders. And if you wish to keep watching, you may. However, if you don't, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell to be notified when I post a new video. It really helps out the channel. Until then, this has been SuperFang99, signing off. All right, welcome back. Let's get organizing. As always, thank you for joining me during this time. I always like sleeving and organizing. It's a very peaceful time for me. I will note, and I forgot to actually note this during the main video, they don't come with their own investigator mini card. So you'll have to use the base Roland mini card for it. Or some other satisfactory replacement. Let's see. I do like Parallel Skids. I have played him before. He's very interesting. Parallel Wendy Adams, obviously, has recently come out. I haven't played her myself, but I've been in a campaign where she has been doing pretty well so far. Because of the Blessed and Cursed card she's able to take, there's a lot of synergistic cards or play styles that she can end up taking advantage of. I would say that even somehow better than the Mystics or someone like Father Mateo, her Blessed and Cursed deck building is like really the only way to make Paradoxical Covenant work. Well, with some exceptions, I guess. So it's interesting. You'll note here, I think the printing got a little cut off at the bottom. It's hard to say. It's not abnormal for in-house printing stuff, but just something to be aware. I don't think it actually is. Yeah, it does look like a cut. I don't actually know what that is. It doesn't look like a cutoff. It looks like you know, I really don't know. Oh wait, these are player cards. What am I doing? These are permanents. So these don't actually go in clear sleeves. These go in my white sleeves. Anyway, what was I saying? Skids, good. Wendy, pretty interesting. I think she could do some really cool things if you have Instant Conspiracy, of course. Agnes, I think, is actually pretty good as well. I know some friends who've been able to do some pretty sick deck, not deck cycling, but like spell cycling almost, where you play a spell and then you draw and then you play another spell, and so far you've only spent like 0 resources somehow. It's pretty neat things to do. As long as she can keep her damage in check, then she can do some pretty sick stuff. Parallel Roland is interesting. These directives, obviously they allow you to do something, but they also come with a penalty. Like, you can't play more than 2 cards a round, or you can only fight or investigate twice each round, and stuff like that. And it's interesting. Really, you really have to weigh the benefits that the directive is giving you. But personally, I don't like. It's not my kind of play style, if that makes any sense. So I was planning to put the title memento here, just because it's a safe space. Mainly because I don't think the benefit outweighs the restrictions and flexibility of being able to, like, I need to actually fight 3 times this turn, and I can't if I have due diligence. And sometimes the directives kind of combo off of each other in a bad way. Like, for example, you cannot play more than 2 cards each round, and you cannot move more than twice each round. That sucks for things like Shortcut, because that is both a move and playing a card. So, like, you just wasted half of both of these directives. And I'm like, oh, that's really sucky. And yet these are like two of the best directives. The gaining 3 Sandy really helps Roland's weakness, right? So yeah. Very hard to weigh which directives to take. I'm sure that people have thought a lot about it. I haven't thought that much about it personally. And that's Roland. Daisy Walker. I think it's only fitting that since you, in my opinion, were the best investigator in the core set, that you have the worst parallel version. I'm sorry, Daisy. It's a little sad. But I really don't understand how she even functions. I could see some builds, and obviously since she gets tome cards, she can do some pretty off-color things with tomes. She can take Schafter's catalog now. That's pretty funny. But I don't really understand how she's supposed to work, and that's okay. If anyone has good strats out to make a parallel Daisy work, please let me know in the comments below. I'll take a look at them. All right, parallel skids though, like, so good. Oh, also I didn't mention he only has a 25 card deck size. I think the same with parallel Agnes. Is that right? Yeah. And you know, like, slimming your deck size doesn't seem like it's that good, but it's pretty good. Like, anyone who's played Magic the Gathering will tell you, having the least amount of cards in your deck is like, it's a good thing. And while the deck may suffer in, say, flexibility, it means that you'll find your key cards, assets, most likely, faster and more reliably. So things like, Lucky Cigarette Case, letting him draw a lot through his deck very rapidly can really accelerate him. And then you go with the almighty Underworld support Parallel Skids O'Toole deck, where you have 20 cards in your deck. Same, albeit only one ofs, but that's the trade-off. It still seems good. 20 cards in your deck seems so good. Okay. Parallel Agnes. That Dark Memory seems really scary. Costs 4 to play. And now when you take 2 horror, because she only has 6 sanity, the 2 horror every turn, right? It is every turn, right? And then you end your turn, yeah. That's brutal. That is brutal. So it's something to watch out for. Definitely. That being said, I believe you can still play the advanced cards even in the base investigator. So you can play the advanced cards in core Agnes. But you're playing Parallel Agnes. What else are you doing? All right, and now for Wendy. It's kind of interesting how they did the challenge scenarios, that there are modifications on existing scenarios. It's a little rough for Parallel Agnes and Wendy, though, since at least those cycles, their re-releases won't be coming for a while, especially Innsmouth. You could obviously just go get Innsmouth right now. It's the most, except for Edge of the Earth, of course. It's the most recent one that is the old format, where it's deluxe expansion and 6 Mythos packs. So if you're really, really, really eager to play Wendy, you could do that. Alternatively, if you really just wanted to play her front, then you can try and proxy the Bless and Curse tokens. I don't know how successful that would be, but I'm sure it's possible. All right, now let's sleeve up these scenario encounter cards. I have a box for this. If that randomly pops up in the middle of this recording, that'll be so funny. All right, let's start with Roland. Let's do this. So at this point, we are in spoiler territory if you do not want to see any of these cards, but otherwise, we're beginning with this. I won't be showing the backs, of course, just the fronts. Let me just quickly check something. Come on. Okay, well, yeah, of course. Does this feel thinner? Less wide? I'll be just a trick of the eye. Let me just briefly check something. Let's compare it to this card, for example. This is from the original, not the original, but the revised core set. No, okay. Same width difference, of course. Yeah, so that makes sense. So same Gamezenter printing, width and all. All right, apologies. Let's keep going. Okay. So here's that one. Next Reader Die. There's only 4 cards here, one of them being an encounter card. Looking at the objectives for each of the parallel scenarios, they definitely vary a lot, I should say. Although, I think they're all based around a similar theme where you're kind of just trying to do as much as you can. Except for maybe Skids. Unless, is he the thing where you have to end the scenario with as many resources as you can? Ooh, that cut is a little shallow on the top. On the bottom, yeah, you can see it's a little extended too much. That's fine. All right, let's move on. This one, you have a lot. Oh my god. Oh yeah, all these bouncers. These are all encounter cards. Okay, good. In the officially printed FFG cards, you do not get the inconsistency with the cuts like you do with these ones. I recall if not recently, but you know, when I was getting this game in paper, the Curse of the Rougarou and in the Carnival of Horrors, their cuts were a little wonky. There was one card in Carnival of Horrors where I could not see the encounter set number, and that was a little disappointing, but you know, it is what it is. You can see there it's a little bit cut off at the bottom. It's nothing too serious, but I could see some people maybe having an issue with it, but I personally don't. It's fine. We're not playing a competitive card game. And also, these weren't able to be printed otherwise, except if you you know, went through a service like Make Playing Cards. I actually don't know if that's how legal that is, so forget I said that. Lamau. All right. All right, so we got Agnes's. She only has 3 cards total. That's a story card. Okay, I won't be showing the back of that. I actually don't know what Parallel Agnes's scenario entails. It is from Threads of Fate, so I assume it's another one of these do as much as you can scenarios, but who knows? Elspeth Bawden. That. That's pretty cool art. I like that art. All right. And lastly, we have Red Tide Rising. Do we have any? No encounter cards. These are all story cards. Sorry, these are agendas. This is a story card as well. No, this has a back. Oh. Oh, interesting. All right. Light is flickering. Okay, there we go. Okay. Almost done. Almost done. Right, so is it that Wendy's trying to look for his dad? Her dad? Sorry. I guess so. Where's my dad? All right. So let's stack these all together. Wish I had some dividers for this, but I'll have to do. All right. And that's all of them. And there we have it. I'll have to find a place to put these. Currently don't have anything that can store these, but I'm sure I'll find something. All right, and that is this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click the notification bell to be notified when I post a new video. It really helps out the channel. Until then, this is SuperFang99 signing off.